We have with us on the phone the Saudi analyst and writer, Mr. Abdullah Al Alami. Thank you for being with us on the show. Can you hear us now?
Yes, hello, good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Abdullah, thank you for being with us. My first question to you is the Kingdom of Bahrain's hosting of the 33rd Arab Summit comes as part of the leading position that the kingdom enjoys under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa at Arab and global levels. The kingdom has always been an important regional destination for international gatherings that serve humanity in various fields. What can you tell us about that?
I'd like to thank you for your invitation, and I also would like to extend my congratulations to the leadership and government and people of the Kingdom of Bahrain on the occasion of the Silver Jubilee of His Majesty the King. And also Bahrain leading the Gulf countries in growth forecasts during 2024. Now, to answer your question, there are various factors. The physical environment in Bahrain, the modern conference and exhibition facilities, the rich history and culture of Bahrain, the diverse and rich culture here, the high technical audiovisuals equipment available. All this, in addition to the political situation where Bahrain's commitment to supporting the Arab cooperation and the Arab economic development agreements, all this alongside Bahraini diplomatic efforts to ensure the success of the Arab Summit and the coordination and organization undertaken by the kingdom's institutions. So all these led to the success of starting this conference, which starts today. As far as humanity is concerned, we all know His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa follow-up on this serious issues is very vital to the success of the conference and to the perseverance, to the peaceful situations the people in Bahrain live in today.
Right. Actually, you're hitting on the next point I want to ask you about. The time of this summit is coming at a very challenging time for a lot of the region, the Arab region, as well as also a changing time when it comes to issues like climate change, food security, and so on. From your point of view, what distinguishes this particular summit from past ones, and what makes the time of hosting the summit vital and significant in terms of joint Arab action?
As you have kindly mentioned, the political and security challenges will be addressed. There are important issues today. We have the terrorist threats, we have the cybersecurity, energy, we have water, food, developmental projects. All these are issues that are important, and this is what distinguishes this summit from past ones. You see, we have commitment of all Arab parliaments, well, I should say most Arab parliaments and legislative councils in following up on the Bahraini summits. Everybody wants to know what's going on. They want to know the results it will yield. They want to know the decisions and recommendations that the final statement will include. So this is what really distinguishes this summit from the past ones.
Right. From your point of view, Mr. Al Alami, what are the most critical economic and social challenges facing the Arab region?
Well, there are plenty. One of which is the economic follow-up on what is going on in some of the Arab countries. I mean, look at Libya and what Libya is going through. Look at Yemen, and look at these other areas in the Arab world where the economy is just barely surviving. Even in the developed Arab countries, you have these issues arising once in a while. Now, that's very important in addressing the achievement of unified Arab vision. When Arabs meet in a conference like this today, they will talk about one thing in particular. They want to talk about achieving a unified Arab vision. This conference is not only they want to look at vital issues for achieving a unified Arab region, but also during this critical and pivotal stage.
From your point of view, Mr. Alami, how do you value the importance or what part of the agenda of the summit caught your eye and you value it as important topic to be discussed?
It's all important. I had the opportunity to speak to one of the delegates who was going to attend the conference today, and I was lucky to have a quick glance at the agenda. It's full of very interesting and very important, I should say, ideas and elements. This is all fits in with the kingdoms of Bahrain desire to achieve a steadfast in supporting the Arab rights. So this is really important, and I think it will be mentioned over and over and over again in today's conference. Also, please remember that in 2003, Bahrain chaired the 15th Arab Summit held in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. You know very well that today Bahrain is the host of the very first Arab Summit, but they have also chaired the summit in Egypt in 2003. This happened during exceptional political and security conditions. So really, the mindset today is, all these organizations throughout the world. I'm talking about the Arab Ministerial Tourism Council. I'm talking about the governors of the Arab Monetary Fund. I'm talking about the Arab Women Organization meetings. And I'm talking about the Arab Inter-Parliamentary Unions. All these people are today watching very closely and very carefully to see what are the outcomes of today's conference.
Right. Mr. Alami, we're going to continue with you in just a bit. But before we go to some of the leaders that are arriving, I want to ask you, how do you value the constant efforts exerted by the Kingdom of Bahrain to support the joint Arab action on various aspects?
Frankly speaking, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Bahrain, for those who do not know, have been involved in the preparation for this conference for many, many weeks. It's not today, it's not yesterday, it's not last week. I'm involved in some of the official arrangements of other activities in Bahrain, but I was lucky enough to have met some of the people who were involved in preparation for this conference. I know very well that Bahrain, being a sovereign and independent state, is really fortunate to have people here in Bahrain who will work close with the government to make this conference a success. I'm speaking more specifically about the efforts of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the follow-up of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince, and the Prime Minister, to serve humanity not only in Bahrain but also worldwide.
Right. Also, one of the things, as you have mentioned, one of the initiatives that His Majesty the King's vision has inspired is the Bahrain Declaration of Peace. What can you tell us about the human rights and peace initiatives that have always been a part of the Bahraini fabric?
Well, you see, Bahrain has always been advocating for peace, whether through the Arab conferences, the Islamic conferences, or the United Nations. You very well are aware of the meeting in Alexandria, for instance, in September 25, 1944, where the Alexandria Protocol was signed in 1944, and it led the groundwork for the Arab League's objectives. Some of these objectives were actually were written by the Bahraini government. I'm talking here about the Arab worlds at that stage, in the global stage, and their engagement in international bodies, You had the UN, you had the European Union, you had the African Union, and you had the ASEAN and others. So really, the Kingdom of Bahrain has been involved in many times in calling for peace, especially in the summit in May 2023, where His Majesty the King met with the custodian of the two holy mosques in Saudi Arabia, and they have both spoken about and emphasized the priority.
Welcome back. We're going to be continuing our discussion with Mr. Abdullah Al Alami, who is a Saudi writer and also analyst. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Al Alami, we just saw the arrival of the delegation from the Sultanate of Oman. The GCC and their relations with the Kingdom of Bahrain are also something to point out at this point as part of the bigger Arab region. What can you tell us about the constant cooperation between the GCC Council countries and how important that is to Arab action?
The Bahrain involvement in the GCC is very crucial. Bahrain's played and is still playing a vital role in supporting and strengthening the joint Arab action and solidarity. That's political from the political side. Also, Bahrain's approach in the diplomacy policies and moderation, look at the balance and openness, look at Bahrain's commitment to supporting Arab cooperation and the Arab economic development agreements that they have signed. Look at Bahrain addressing political and security challenges throughout the Arab world. The Bahrain issues is very crucial here because we're talking about the efforts of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa in promoting Bahrain as a land of peace. And also, this is not only crucial for the Bahraini people, it is also crucial for the Arab world that we have a country, a Gulf country, like the Kingdom of Bahrain, which is hosting this summit, and the results it will yield are already visible. Look at the people coming in to attend the conference. Look at the draft decisions and recommendations and resolutions that have been published today. They all point to Bahrain's commitment to being involved in addressing the political and security challenges, in Bahrain involvement to ensure the success of this Arab summit.
Absolutely. Mr. Alami, also the fact is that the Kingdom of Bahrain collaborates with many countries around the region, Arab countries and GCC countries, of course, in promoting and enhancing their own fields like tourism, like security, like healthcare. These kind of collaborations or exchange of expertise are also part of the importance of how strong the relationships are. Do you see it that way?
Absolutely, and you mentioned tourism, and obviously Bahrain is well known. I mean, you go to the U.S. or you go to Europe, and you mentioned that you just flew in from Bahrain, and they immediately say, "Oh, we've been in that country. It's wonderful. It's fabulous. We really enjoyed the tourist activities over there, the sea, the beach, etc., the sceneries, the exotic historical sites." Everybody talks about that, not only in Europe and the U.S., but also in the Arab world. I mean, you go to any Arab country and they talk about, what is available in Bahrain in terms of history, in terms of culture, in terms of music. I usually get invited to attend what it is concerts or what is festivities in Bahrain, and I'm really pleasantly surprised to see the development of music, the stage, the dancing. I mean, everything is just fabulous. I see Europeans, Americans attending, and they're very pleased with what they see.
Right. Also, from another point, there is the constant collaboration in healthcare, exchanging expertise, especially with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and other GCC countries and Arab nations, where this exchange of expertise goes down to providing the citizens of all countries with the best available healthcare, that is, when it comes to the healthcare sector.
Very true, very true. The healthy workplace participation in June, July 2023 was a success. It was in Bahrain. The evaluation of customers' satisfaction on the history of health issues in Bahrain was also a success. Look at the public health emergency plan in Bahrain. Look at the open national data platform in Bahrain that has to do with health issues. They have all been monitored and they've all been quoted as the successful health issues in the Kingdom of Bahrain. So really, the health promote the medical the health ministry promotes the work to enhance the health of individuals and the community, not only the citizens of Bahrain. How do they do this? By encouraging the adoption of healthy lifestyles, establishing settings that promote healthy practices. And that all contributes, by the way, to improving the health of the population in the Kingdom of Bahrain, be it citizens or non-citizens. And this also results in reducing the spread of non-communicable diseases and related risk factors. And also it raises the level of health awareness among citizens and residents. It enhances the people's self-responsibility, forming partnership with government and private sector to promote health in the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Right, and we see also the efforts that were exerted by the Kingdom of Bahrain, their successful template when it came to COVID-19 and providing healthcare, vaccinations and everything for citizens and residents of the kingdom, no matter what the nationality was. And this was one of the things that really pinpoint the values of peace and coexistence and integrated dialogue on regional and global levels from the Kingdom of Bahrain towards the people on the lands and regions around them.
Very true. And since you mentioned COVID-19, we all remember how the Kingdom of Bahrain updated the entry procedures, whether via King Fahd Causeway or airport or whatever. We've read the guidelines for COVID-19 alert level traffic light system. I read the COVID-19 alert level traffic light system myself, and I was really impressed with how detailed it was. And I'm talking here about the de-escalating from one level to the level below in COVID-19. I'm talking about the moving to an alert level. I'm talking about the designated procedures at the higher alerts level in the interest of public, of course, and the health and their health and their safety.
Right. Achieving peace and achieving development are really two inseparable foundations to build a prosperous future for the region. What's your view on this?
Well, of course, each country claims that they want to achieve peace. Each country claims that they are against wars and against fighting. But when it comes to Bahrain, when it comes to the Kingdom of Bahrain, we all remember the Bahrain's declaration of peaceful coexistence. This is a very crucial piece of legislation. It's the constitutional legislation that was granted the right and explicitly affirmed freedom of conscience. Actually, it was, as I recall, in Article 22 of the Constitution of the Kingdom of Bahrain, which states very clearly freedom of conscience is absolute. So we have an open dialogue, a peaceful open dialogue with the rest of the world, and this is one of the items that really attracts people when they come over to Bahrain is the peaceful coexistence of this country.
Yeah. Although Bahrain is our main focus, we also want to see or mention the Arab nations with their history, their cultural values, their human resources, their creative talents, and their distinctive strategic locations and diverse natural resources are really capable of further strengthening their joint action and integration. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I'm involved in some cases in the old Arabic language. This is a tradition that holds that Arabs descended from Ishmael, the son of Abraham. And when I read about these issues and I relate to what is going on in the Arab world today, you're absolutely right. Whether you go through the Iron Age, whether you go through the classical kingdoms in the past, whether you go through the Nabateans, the countries such as old Syria, the Mesopotamia, Iraq, that is the late kingdoms, you see the atmosphere of the people who had lived there, these societies who have lived there, the Umayyad Caliphate, for instance. You look at the Abbasid Caliphate, you look at the Fatimid Caliphates, you look at the Ottoman Empire. All these that the Arab world has gone through, they have experienced various stages of civilizations, various stages of development, but mind you, also various stages of catastrophes and wars and battles amongst themselves. And this is how we became united, nations. We have 23, 24 countries, the ascending of Arab people. The bibliography speaks for itself. We have our tradition, we have our culture, our music, our art, our habits, our norms. All that is very visible to the rest of the world.
That brings me actually to my last question for you before we end this part. What do you expect will be the outcomes of the 33rd Arab Summit?
I believe it's going to be a successful meeting. I believe that there will be probably 20, maybe 21 resolutions, separate resolutions that will have to do with the physical environment, the political situation, the farming, the education and health. There will be recommendations as far as the final statement is concerned. There will be decisions made, of course, at the highest level possible. These are the leaders of the Arab world, or at least two-thirds of the Arab leaders. So we really are looking very closely at what is going on in Manama today. We're looking at what is going to happen politically, economically, socially, all these challenges that are facing the Arab region. What are the leaders going to do about it? What are the kings, princes, and presidents of the Arab world are going to tackle this issue? My final words is that I am optimistic. Now, I'm not 100% optimistic, but I am optimistic that the summit will result in a very positive resolution that will lead to again, continuing the development of the Arab world, provided, underlined, that we monitor what is going on, we implement the resolutions, not have the resolutions placed in a file and in the pocket somewhere, but really looking at them very closely and trying to implementing them very closely.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdullah Al Alami, for your input and for being with us.